There we have it, the Motorola Edge 40 Neo. Now this budget €400 smartphone comes with a 144Hz display, great battery life and 4K resolution. But before we get into that, let's check out what we get inside the box. So the first thing that pops up in that plastic-free paper box is the smartphone itself, and it comes with some extra gear. Like with most Motorola smartphones, we get a charging brick. This one is a 69 watts fast charger. There is a matching charging cable with a USB Type-C connection, and Motorola also packs up an extra case which is made out of plants. This one does feel pretty smooth in the hands, but I hope it's a little bit sturdier than the plant that it's made from. So now let's get over to the design and some of the specs. So the Motorola Edge 40 Neo looks awesome. There is a handful of colors available. Now this one is the Black Beauty, which you can also read down at the bottom. Some of these colors even come with a very smooth vegan leather design. On the backside you will find the big Motorola logo in the middle of it and the dual camera setup. These ones only stick out a wee bit, but it's not very bothering. Now if we go over to the front side, you'll see that the bezels all around the phone aren't too chunky, and not even the thicker lip at the bottom is that big. With the Moto Edge 40 Neo, you get a pretty curvy smartphone with round edges and a display that curves around the edges of the phone. This phone only has a plastic frame, weighs in at 170 grams, and you get Corning Gorilla Glass for the display protection. Now, like a lot of other smartphones, this one is IP68 water and dust resistant, so it should easily resist some rain showers or if you drop it into a glass of water. Now, as for the display, we get a 6.55-inch POLED display with a 144Hz refresh rate. You can also trim that down anytime you want to save some of your battery life, but like this, everything on the phone does look pretty smooth. We get HDR10 plus resolution and 1300 nits of brightness. And like this, you can watch all of your favorite movies, Netflix series and Crunchyroll animes out in the sun. Of course, at home you will get the best taste of those poppy and vivid colors, the great contrast and inky blacks. Just a little dot on the top end of your phone can get a little bit in your way, but after just a few minutes you won't notice it anymore. Now as for the sound, the Moto Edge 40 Neo certainly gets loud enough to cover all of the background noises for a crispy, clean sound, but just let me give you a quick example. But which one is actually better? First, I have to say that the Galaxy Watch 6 is only compatible with Android smartphones, and the Apple Watch 9 only. Like on most Motorola smartphones, you get the Dolby Atmos to even further boost your audio experience. There are a couple of presets installed that you can use, but you can also create your own and even play around with the equalizer a little bit, but I don't know what the heck I'm doing if I move those sliders. Next we got the battery life. The Moto Edge 40 Neo packs a 5000 mAh battery that should easily get you through the day and the night and still have about 30 to 40% left in the next morning. It of course always depends on how much you use your smartphone, but the best part is the charging speed. With the included 68 watts fast charging brick, you will be back to full life in no time. It only takes about 15 minutes to go from 0 all the way to half, and then it takes a little bit longer once you get close to 100%. As for the features, I actually want to start with saying that you get full 3 years of security updates and 2 years of OS updates. So that will be Android 14 and Android 15. The only negative thing is that Android 14 will be released in the next couple of weeks, so you basically only get 1 year of OS updates, like for example the Moto G84 that I recently tested. I also noticed that you get a whole lot of junk apps on your smartphone like Facebook, Booking.com and small games, but gladly you can get rid of them quite fast. Just pull them off of your screen or delete them right away. So Moto slapped some of its own apps on here like Family Space. Like this you can enable only certain apps depending on who is using the phone. For instance, your kids can only play a few games or listen to the radio. There's also the Moto app in which you can do a whole lot of things. You can customize your whole display and change the shape of your icons, text size, how many icons you want to have on your display at once, and many other things. You have lots of gesture controls. There is the normal flip upside down to turn on the D&D mode. You can give your phone a shake to turn on the torch. You can quickly launch apps or the camera and a few more. You have the security space in which you can create some safe folders in case you want to hide stuff from your girlfriend and kids. But one of my favorite apps on the Moto Edge 40 Neo is the Ready For app. Like this, you can quickly connect your phone to a nearby PC or tablet and share files, apps, and do a little bit of streaming action. As for the storage capacity, I have the 256 gig version, and about 11 gigs are already used up by the system, which really isn't too bad. Now on the bottom of the screen you have your built-in fingerprint sensor, which works just fine, and in case you got some sweaty fingers or you have gloves on, you still have the face detection, which does a great job as well. Now a big fun of this phone is the gaming and its performance. In here you will find the MediaTek Dimensity 7030 chipset backed up with 12 gigs of RAM. Like this, everything you do on this phone feels great, the apps open up fast, you can swipe up and down and through your news tab, and it all works great. And I have to admit that the Moto Edge 40 Neo performs very well when it comes to gaming. So I've tried playing Genshin Impact on the medium settings and it works very smooth. And even if I put it into higher settings, it works still fairly good. I mean, you do get some lags every once in a while if a lot happens on the screen at once, but that's the case with many smartphones. By the way, you do get a game booster on this phone as well. Like this, you can take quick screenshots, screen record, you can toggle on the high performance mode or toggle on the D&D mode so no one gets on your nerves during your gaming sessions. Now, of course, we have to talk about the cameras as well. So we got a dual camera setup on this phone with a 50 megapixel main camera with optical image stabilization and a 13 megapixel ultra wide lens. On the front we have a 32 megapixel selfie cam and you can record in 4K with 30 FPS on all of the cams, but I would stick to the 1080p resolution as you can record in a much better 60 frames per second. At least when it comes to the back camera. The front one still only records in 30 FPS in 1080p. But overall I have nothing to complain about the back camera and the video quality. It takes some great photos with nice poppy colors, it gets all of the details and the different camera modes work great as well. There's a portrait mode, slow motion, pro mode, and if you click on more, you get stuff like night vision, high-res shots, and dual capture. The selfie video looks great too, so let me give you a quick example. Alright, so there goes the selfie test, and as I told you, this thing can only record in 1080p with at least 60 frames per second, but no 4K resolution. But it still looks pretty great. I am also very satisfied with the quality of the selfie cam photos. They are maybe not as sharp as the main camera, and it seems like I didn't see any sun for the last couple of days, but overall not that shabby. It's also great that even with the selfie cam, you get all of your camera modes, which is great. This phone has a few problems when it comes to catching moving objects, especially if you're trying to take pictures of you zooming around kitty cats. And guys, there we have it. Now I have also tested the Moto G84 in another video. Just click right here to get right to it. And I guess with that one being said, I will see you in the next one. Peace.